Hey Ratbags, it's Jade today giving you a lowdown on a brand new open world crafting survival RPG game, OPPIDUM. This has now got a release date, something I've kept my eyes on a little bit over the last year or so, included in a bunch of list videos. It was meant to have come out at the end of 2024, but then they delayed it and it's looking like it's arriving very soon, in fact April the 23rd. So what does this offer? Well, we're going to go through everything you need to know about this game, but fear not, if you're playing on Xbox, PlayStation, it will be coming out on the same day. This won't be an early access title. It's not going to be only PC for like years. It will be available for everyone. And I know console fans are desperately looking for something like this. Something with maybe grounded Smallland and Valheim vibes in a colourful setting. That means you can play with your friends. So let's go. Let's give you everything you need to know. So yes, OPPIDUM is going to be a survival adventure game. It's having you and up to 4 players total able to build a camp, collect everything a fantastic land can offer and push forward through the island. A world hanging by a thread needs your help. Will you answer the call? It's going to be a handmade map, not procedurally generated, with seemingly a big focus on the NPCs and helping them with their quests as well as reunite them. Some of this does look very cute, maybe a bit too cute for me normally, but I gotta say I was actually pretty impressed by the combat and the fact that it has got some decent survival mechanics by the looks of things. While you may not necessarily be able to build a giant castle, the camp does look like it's got a lot of involvement in terms of farming, making sure you've got the right kind of crafting stations up, as well as being able to tame certain animals, I'm guessing to give you resources. The island of Insul has had some sort of corruption hit it, and you've basically got to try and do your best to free it from it. It looks like it's going to be a big resource called Tamai, which seemingly is going to get from doing everything from going ahead and harvesting resources and maybe finding in bigger amounts, which will help you progress. And it does look like it's going to have a big focus on story. The game is going to be available on PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox One, Series S and X, and the original Xbox of course, and it's all going to have proper cross-platform play. It's also out on Switch and of course PC as well. Haven't come across any info about potentially dedicated servers or anything like that. It does look like you will only be able to join your friends, and we'll have to see how that works, what kind of progression you can take with you, can you transfer characters, that's the kind of stuff I'm hoping to find out soon. Looks like it's got a lot of customization in terms of the armors and gear that you can be wearing, but it looks like you're part of a scouts club and the 4 of you have been basically teleported to this world. It seems to have all the survival and open world tropes, things you'll be doing like farming, animal husbandry, building of course certain things maybe to progress to other zones, or like I said, connecting maybe some of the villagers and neighbours together. Using things like a forge, a lumber mill, a kitchen, an animal husbandry pen, a bank to store maybe your most prized possessions, also a special little workshop, and leatherworking. Very much reminds me of something called Drake's Hollow, a little survival game slash kind of survival that came out a good few years ago that I covered. Big focus on that was that you had to power some of the machines, so it doesn't maybe look that involved or complex for this one, just simply plonking them down somewhere and building out your nice little campsite. With, I'm guessing, some sort of resource or respawn point for all of your friends when they join. But yeah, it looks cute enough. Definitely going to need some big flat spaces, and I'm hoping it means we can build pretty much almost anywhere. There's definitely some encampments shown a little bit in different spots, although that might end up just actually being some of the NPC buildings, we'll have to see. But gathering resources, bringing them back, upgrading your gear or unlocking new items, and seemingly upgrading the workbenches themselves as you saw in that clip, it's all going to help with progression so that you can maybe take on some of the tougher enemies, and the armor weapons look pretty cool. You seem to have like very magical based certain creatures, as well as typical ones with big melee clubs and stuff. And yeah, we're going to definitely need all the precious ores we can get to make weapons to take them on. If you're not about the combat life or necessarily even building, then maybe a little bit of farming's for you. And yeah, it looks simple enough, nothing too complex. Plant the seeds down, go ahead and harvest them, and plonk a bunch of water on it. Hopefully maybe there might be some weather effects in it that could help out. But again, that's something I need to look into and find out. And there's plenty of animals, as I said, typical things maybe like animal husbandry, but don't panic, it does seem to have horses, which to me says that there could be mounts for you to ride. I got a bunch of this info and stuff from their Discord, so I'll leave the link to it down in the comments below. You can check out some of their sneak peek channels to see some of this stuff. But yeah, horses were shown off, obviously more crops, so there's a bunch of different stuff you can grow. Lots of foods and lots of components maybe to craft to hopefully help you make better, maybe meals that will give you more buffs by the looks of things. I think for me, sometimes if a game is too cozy, it does put me off a bit. I need a bit of action. That's why I'm kind of excited about this game. Also, it's on every platform. It's like the golden thing I'm looking for. Grounded was amazing for me, but it's kind of done now until we get a Grounded 2. Small Land was okay, but it kind of took a while to get really good, and I haven't really had a chance to revisit it. So something brand new and fresh, something that isn't early access, but is going to be available for everyone. It's kind of got very similar mechanics, maybe a little bit more of some coziness, and maybe even a bit of Valheim. I definitely recognise or feel like some of this stuff running around and adventuring could give me that feeling too. And does look interesting with the NPCs. Seemingly we're going to be doing stuff like either helping them move to places or unlock certain upgrades for them so we can buy better stuff. Haven't found out yet if there's going to be any kind of base defense, like are we going to have to protect ourselves from maybe attacks from enemies eventually. I'm curious to see how much this might be time based, like is it going to take literally minutes to cook some ore, or is it going to be pretty rapid? This video, all in all, is great. It shows off so much of what you can be doing day to day when you're not off adventuring or in combat. And what about the actual combat? Well, let's dive into that a little bit more too. There are going to be different biomes to obviously explore, and some of them are going to be more dangerous than others, with caves and just natural wildlife spawning, as well as I'm guessing these corrupted creatures. Looking at the swords and shields here, definitely give me also Breath of the Wild style vibes too. Kind of hoping there's not too much reliance on parrying. Games like that with Grounded, especially even Small Land, it's nice to have a game where you can actually just defend and not be expected to play a certain way, but it does look like you will need maybe a full gear set of a shield and some sort of melee weapon. But some of these places look like they're encampments. We've got really creepy swamps with killer plants and more desert-like regions too. Some of the enemies look pretty geared up as well, not just magical or creatures to hit you with their big claws. We've got big shields and clubs on them as well. And yeah, we'll be diving into caves, fighting spiders, rock golems, scorpions and automatons. Seems we'll be helping out a race of people maybe called the Protectors, and that's what's going to drive us forward in the story too. So there you go. I actually took a look at this game, not going to lie, about 18 months ago I think, and I thought, it's probably just a bit too simple for me. But then I started seeing more and more progress being made, and it became a bit more involved with the combat, and then I saw more of the campsite building, and then they started saying it was more of a survival game, not just a kind of RPG. So I'm definitely down to give this a try. I hope it's good. I'm building it up. It might not necessarily be everything I expect, but from what I'm seeing from the trailers and the dev teases, it does look like it's got potential. They've hopefully taken their time and they've maybe balanced it the right way, since it's not going to be an early access title, but I'm sure hopefully they'll get updates to carry on development with it maybe. Otherwise, I've got hope that there's enough content there to be fulfilling for a good while and give everyone a good chance to have that exploration and adventure feel with friends or on your own. But props to them for having literally crossplay out the door and for releasing on older gen where so many people still play. Its art style lends that. It's not exactly a ultra realistic game, so I'm kind of glad. I prefer it when everyone gets a chance to play, if they're even on older gen, which so many are. So there we go. That's all my thoughts and what I know about OPPIDUM. It looks interesting, it looks colourful, and it looks like it could have a bit of that combat bite and interest that I'm looking for. Let me know what you think about the game, and I'll be covering it absolutely on its release date. Until next time, Ratbags, laters.